Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraini!
These ambulances will be driven from the beaches of Normandy to Ukraine to provide that frontline support. They are again a symbol of hope and an action of dedication, and it is our privilege and our honor to help.
We're all here to provide Ukraine with the assistance that's vital. These ambulances save 250 lives a month. And you think about all of the ambulances, the 50 ambulances that we drove all the way from the beaches of Normandy.
From the very bottom of my heart, that I really appreciate all the job that's been done already by your initiative. We as Ukrainians, we are very blessed to have the United States as a reliable partner of Ukraine.
Just know that our hearts are with you, and we are so appreciative of all your support and your energy and passion to help Ukraine. This is a very special time as we look back and many years from now and think about the change that we brought to Ukraine. We can be proud of the work that we've done.
If you missed part 1, I showed our travels to Normandy, the 80th D-Day anniversary event, our sending off ceremony at Utah Beach, and my incredibly funny struggles to drive a manual car for the first time across France and subsequently have it break down. We just left off at a German military base where we'd woken up and headed out to the parking lot to start up the ambulances. So the next morning we said goodbye to our mechanic, which was sad. We lost a couple more cars that next day, maybe 2 more cars.
On the journey to Munich.
So Alex and I got to stay together again, which was really nice. But we lost Basil that morning. He had to go back to work. He was in our group. Demo was commissioned to drive one of the more difficult vehicles in a different group. So we lost Demo. And then Dustin had to go pick up a car that had been left in France. So we lost Dustin, and so that was team 1, was those 3, and then me, Alex, and Trent. So it was just me, Alex, and Trent. And honestly, the smaller the group, the faster you go, because we just breezed. We got from Munich to Bratislava the fastest. So we have made it to Austria. Everyone's filling up gas right now. I think we're like on the German-Austrian border. Like I think that's Germany, and then this is Austria in front of us. We're getting lunch. It's 2:25 p.m. But we are doing well. I would say like half the convoy got stuck in a crash, like right behind us. There was a crash on the interstate, and then they closed it down, and so half the convoy got stuck like behind that. So I think we're probably the first ones to get into Austria. We beat everybody. There was a storm that came rolling in like right around Vienna that was right behind us that basically every other group got caught in except for us. So we made it. And so Alex, Trent, and I got to go to a really cool dinner in Slovakia. Mm-hmm. We went to like a pub. We saw the storm. I think I have footage of us walking to this restaurant and all the lightning strikes that I mean, it was beautiful, but everyone else was stuck in it. So it was really sad. Thunder. Lightning. Wow, that lightning is beautiful. We should probably get inside, but it's so pretty. How precious. And then we had a connection on our team. Jan, he set up that we could stay on a military base in Bratislava. We went to bed, but I will show you those accommodations tomorrow. We had a press conference at like 4 p.m. So we had basically the whole day free. It was only me, Alex, and Trent in the actual base though. So I'll show you some footage of the cots and the lengths they went to accommodate us, which was really, really nice of them.
Yeah.
Again. Like, I feel like I'm in a movie.
At least you have a table you can work on, though.
That's true. I might do some work. We have a towel. We have sheets. We have sheets. We have an IKEA pillow, brand new, state of the art, and a sleeping bag. This is great. Actually surprisingly comfortable. And I like the sound of the rain. We have a late start today because we have a press conference at 4, so we can't leave until after that. We're in Slovakia at a military base, but the cool thing is that they have a desk so I can edit YouTube videos.
And because we had that day free, that particular military base is actually right next to a former labor and concentration camp from World War II and the Holocaust. Trent and I, we went to that, kind of turned it into a museum kind of memorial. So that was very moving. That was my first time on a concentration camp. It was very interesting to learn about, you know, the different countries and how they operated underneath German rule. And things like that. So that was a very sobering experience as well. And I'm glad that we got to take advantage of that while we were there.
So as Alex said at the beginning of the video, he is Ukrainian. He was born in Lviv, partly why we wanted to do this. Also, Alex is Jewish and his great-grandfather is a Holocaust survivor. So that being the first time you got to visit a concentration camp, I also feel like it's like two parts of you that kind of merged into one trip that you got the chance to do that too. It was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. So the United States ambassador to Slovakia, as well as the Ukrainian ambassador to Slovakia, they joined this press conference, as well as I believe it was the lieutenant colonel who is one of the head officers of the military base. We all had a send-off again as we were, you know, going across the Ukrainian border.
Yeah.
Broker, yeah, who's gonna like process the stuff at the.
We're all here to provide Ukraine with the assistance that's vital. These ambulances save 250 lives a month. He managed to escape, but the only thing that the Germans allowed him to keep was the coin around his neck. He managed to make his way.
Let me begin by thanking all of you who are involved in making this happen. This is incredible. My team has been telling me for weeks about this.
I want to say from the very bottom of my heart that I really appreciate all the job that have been done already by your initiative.
I want to sign this flag. Everybody to sign the flag. Yeah. So maybe we could do it. A couple of people could hold it against the ambulance while we sign it. All right.
We drove from Bratislava to Kosice, and the whole drive was stunning. Like France was stunning, Germany was stunning, Austria, oh my goodness, but Slovakia, those mountains, like I think because the storm had been the night before, like the like mist over the mountains and the whole drive, like you're just driving and it's like, we're both European, but I have not seen so much of Europe. So getting to see that much of Europe while doing something so important was really cool, and just a really cool experience to get to like see that much of a country. You usually don't drive through that much of a country. Nothing too crazy happened that next day. We just drove. It was relatively short. We joined a new group with David, Yulana, Fred. Oh my gosh, they were a hoot. We got dinner together on one of the stops and they were just like, why weren't you in our group earlier? Like, we had so much fun. We really loved joining that group. That was a really fun group to join, so that we weren't just the three of us anymore, which was nice. This was the day that we drove across the border into Ukraine, kind of like the final day of the journey. And so we woke up that morning bright and early, and we had to take all of our ambulances to a broker that had to check our vehicles before they could cross the border. All right, good morning. Today we are crossing the border into Ukraine, but before we can drive the cars across the border, they have to be checked by like a customs agent type thing to make sure. I'm holding toilet paper. This is because they didn't have toilet paper in the bathrooms inside the customs office. Anyway, they need to check the cars, look at the paperwork, see where the car exactly is going, make sure that it goes to the correct place. We will be met at the border by the Ukrainian armed forces, and they will escort us the rest of the way. Alex is driving his automatic ambulance. I'm driving a second ambulance, a manual one, and I have a partner now. My partner Chris will be in the passenger seat with me. The drive from here to Ukraine is about an hour and a half till we hit the border. So once we get all of our cars cleared to go, then we will head that way, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I do not stall while they're checking my passport at the border. That's my only goal. And on the highway. Don't want to stall there either. I actually don't want to stall at all. That would be great. But we got there really early, and then we just had to wait, and it was quite a long wait. But we had breakfast with everyone. We hung out. It was raining. I did a little ambulance tour of our ambulance. Charging capabilities. I don't know what this is, but I really like that they added stars. It's a nice touch.
Some people took some ambulance naps.
Yeah, we took some gurney naps. Gurney naps are great. Everyone had a bed in the back of their car, so that was great. So that was kind of fun to like hang out and have a moment of peace before this kind of hectic drive. And we were going to Mukachevo that night. We had a hotel in Mukachevo, which is about an hour past the Ukrainian border. So once you're in Ukraine, it's about an hour into Ukraine is where we were going. So the drive shouldn't have taken that long. It's only like a 2.5 hour drive from Kosice to Mukachevo. I'm taking a little bit of a gurney nap. These ambulances, y'all, they're so loud. While we lay here waiting for the customs agent to clear our vehicles, I want to explain why I'm in a car with a passenger that's not Alex. 2 days ago, they sent a list of the vehicles that the drivers will be driving. So like your ID has to match the vehicle that you're driving. Whatever name was assigned to that car, that person had to be in the car in order for that car to make it across the border. Alex and Mai's vehicle was assigned, and his name is on that vehicle. My name wasn't assigned to a vehicle. But our good friend Chris, he was assigned to a vehicle he hadn't been driving. Don't know how that happened, but it happened. And the vehicle he was assigned to was, you guessed it, a manual. And he can't drive manual. So I drove it. So he has to be with the vehicle in order for it to make it into Ukraine. So he has to be my passenger. If that wasn't the case, I would just have Alex be my passenger, and then I would give Chris the automatic. But he has to stick with that manual car. He just can't drive it. So I'll be driving it for him. He'll be in the passenger seat. Anyway, so yeah, we're just chilling. It is raining, but we have shelter and a bed back here in our car. So it was cool because Alex and I still got to deliver 2 ambulances into Ukraine, which was amazing. We thought we were only going to deliver 1, but we got to deliver 2. So anyway, so Alex and I were separated again in order to drive into Ukraine. We got to the border relatively quickly, and we all pull up and we're put in a line, and for reasons unbeknownst to us, Slovakia did not want to let us go. Slovakia was like, no, you're staying here. You're not going into Ukraine. No, I don't know. There was only one person in our group translating, so I'm not exactly sure all the intricacies of what the holdup was.
Supposedly there were some paperwork issues. Despite what we had done earlier in the day with the broker, they required further documentation that was somewhat difficult to obtain. So that made it a much longer crossing than it otherwise would have been.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, we have made it to, well, this is the border right behind me. That blue building. That's Ukraine. Those trees over there are in Ukraine. And
Ukrainian trees.
Yeah, we are, Alex's ambulance is this one. Okay, and then I'm right behind him. So now this is the ambulance that Alex will be delivering into Ukraine, and this is the ambulance that I will be delivering into Ukraine. He's just like following me. You can see we're in a trail of them behind us, all waiting. So we're just stretching our legs, and yeah, how do you feel?
Pretty good. We'll see once we cross the border. Excited, a little nervous, not gonna lie, but also excited to get back into the country and then hopefully get out easily.
Hopefully get out easily,
Fingers
yeah.
crossed.
Like and subscribe for part 2. Just kidding.
What I've been told, they're motor pool, they're mechanics and stuff, they go through.
We have been at the Slovakian border for 2 hours, waiting in our cars so that we can be cleared to pass. There's just some paperwork. I don't even know what it is, but there's paperwork that we don't have that they want. There's 50 ambulances, so this is going to take a while, I think. But someone's going to try calling the Ukrainian ambassador to see if that'll help them get us across. But we're just hanging out in our cars, just chilling. Alex is behind me, so once I'm let in, he should not be that far behind. 6 hours later, I get through with the first 5 vehicles are allowed through. James is the first one in Ukraine.
I'm number 1.
We'll probably be number 2.
I'm number 2.
Have fun in there.
I really didn't expect to be the first one across the border.
Yeah, it's all you.
Not with the beast that has a leaking radio.
That is Ukraine. Here am I. They're just checking our passports. Right? Yeah, 2. But we are almost inside. I just feel like it's right after these lights.
Maybe there's a bathroom.
So it was Fred, James, me and Chris, Trent, Colton, and Conrad. We got through. Alex was right behind us, but we get through the Slovakian border and now we're stopped at the Ukrainian border. And the Ukrainian border agents were so nice, so unbelievably kind. And yes, I know we were bringing them aid, so yes, they'd be nice, but so unbelievably nice. I have a clip of one of them giving me a chocolate bar because he thought I looked tired. One of the border agents just gave me this because he saw I was tired. That was the sweetest thing. He asked if I wanted coffee and I said no, so he brought me this snack instead. So nice. So once we got to the Ukrainian side, it turned out that James' car needed an extra piece of paperwork, so he couldn't go through. So Fred was the first one through, but Fred was immediately going back through into Slovakia because he had a flight out that day. So Fred gets through and then immediately parks up his ambulance and walks back. Colton and Conrad did the same thing. They were parking up and then going right back through. So that left me and Chris as the first ones who actually went past the border and drove into Ukraine. So Chris and I are there and we're in Ukraine and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I wanted to wait for Alex, then I also didn't know how long it would take. And it's a good thing that I didn't wait for you, but it was also kind of scary because we weren't with the convoy at all anymore. It was just me and Chris. My phone was at 6%. And again, we had no charging capabilities. So I was like, I just need to get to the hotel. I need to get to the hotel. I need to charge my phone and I need to just wait for Alex to get here and just believe that he's going to get here somehow. Chris and I drive, we get lost. I'm driving through Uzhhorod and lots of traffic lights, lots of stopping and starting, lots of stalling, just stress. Phone is dying. I don't know where Alex is. Anyway, I make it to the hotel and Trent is 10 minutes behind us. So at this point, the only 3 people in Ukraine from our entire convoy are me, Chris, and Trent.
And this is probably about 8:30
p.m.
Yeah. We had gotten to the border 2 or 3 p.m.
So then I plug my phone in expecting that Alex is 10 minutes behind Trent. I call Alex, and Alex is still at the border, the Slovakian side. Like he hasn't made it out of Slovakia yet.
Once you make it through the Slovakian customs, then you also have to go through Ukrainian customs. Their process was much simpler, but they still had a process. We were still on the Slovakian side, with the need to still go through Ukrainian customs and then drive to Mukachevo.
I am so thankful I had Trent, Trent is one of my sister and brother-in-law's friends. So we knew that he was going to be on the trip, but I'd never met him before. But honestly, he became like Alex and I's best friend. Like I was very, very stressed out. Being in Ukraine without Alex, like just wasn't what I had envisioned going into the trip. And I was like, is Alex going to make it through? And I just kind of wanted to be there with him when he got into Ukraine, because I knew it was okay, but Alex's birthplace was Ukraine, and I knew that was going to be on his passport. And like people had messaged me and been like, is it okay that he's going into Ukraine? Is he going to get stuck there? Like, do they know he's a doctor? Like I had all these racing thoughts, and I like wanted to be with him as we crossed in to like make sure it was okay. I know that the scarier part is getting out, but I don't know. I'm really thankful for Trent, and I'm very thankful that they had set up a dinner for us. This amazing, incredible dinner for all of us, expecting all of us to be there, but we weren't. So the three of us, James eventually came, like an hour later, James got through. And so we go and they have these like vodka shots for us, like a vodka tasting, and Chris buys us bottles of wine, and there's just like so much good food. And we met up with some members of the Territorial Defense Force, and they had dinner with us too.
And also Ukrainian volunteers that have previously worked with Ukraine Focus and have helped with these types of transitions and accommodations and things like that. So they also joined up with Amy at that time.
I was very quickly relaxed, had some wine, had some good food, waited for Alex to get there. And people slowly started being allowed in at like, I would say 10:30.
It was about an hour and a half after Amy was let in that eventually then I was the next person, the next vehicle to cross the border. And I still then had to go through Ukrainian customs.
And then Mukachevo was an hour away.
Right. So I did not get to the hotel until close to midnight, like 11:30 midnight.
And thankfully we were able to box up all of the food and have it all ready and waiting for everyone who made it through. But only maybe 10 people made it through before midnight. And we went to bed knowing that there were still people at the border. When we woke up the next morning, I think the last car made it through at 4:30 a.m. 4:30 in the morning. And like we had no food, no way to get food, because you're just at the Slovakian customs. There's like no way to get any food. I can't even imagine. I think Virginia was one of the later ones. Brock and his team, the mayor of Albany, New York, who I became really good friends with.
She joined us in Munich as well. And her chief of staff, David, they were amazing.
We love her, and we love the mayor of Tampa, and she's close to the mayor of Tampa, so we bonded over that. She made it through super late, and I just felt really bad. I feel very lucky looking back that I got through first. At the time, it was really scary, but I feel very lucky that we got through and that had time to actually go to bed.
And in case you're wondering why the mayor of Albany was joining this, Albany is actually a sister city with Bucha in Ukraine. And so because they are sister cities, the mayor of Albany, she joined the journey to Bucha to meet up with the mayor in Bucha. They did a groundbreaking for the hospital there.
So at that point, the members of the Territorial Defense Force took over our vehicles and drove our vehicles the rest of the way. There's lots of checkpoints once you're in Ukraine, and they were going to Kyiv or to Bucha. And so they took our vehicles the rest of the way. But we had accomplished our task. We got our vehicles into Ukraine. Some members of the group continued on and went to Kyiv. Alex and I, our flight was out of Poland. So we went to Lviv, and we got to hang out there for a day before we took our train out and into Poland. Our next video will be of Lviv and kind of the like day-to-day life of Ukrainians and like what it looks like there, and the fun things we got to do. See the house that Alex grew up in for the first couple years of his life. So that was a really fun day. But this concludes our journey to Ukraine. We did it. We got there. Lots of twists and turns.
I'm glad we did it. Thank you to everyone that donated as well. Thank you for the well wishes throughout, before, during, after. We've really appreciated it.
Everyone who like shared the fundraising link, posted on their Instagram, posted on their Facebook, checked in with us, made sure we were okay, posted our updates while we were driving. Just like so much support from family. Thank you, Mom, for teaching me how to drive manual, kind of. You know, people say like, couldn't have done it without you, but like we couldn't have come up with that money on our own. Definitely like the entire team, specifically team one, Basil, Demo, Dustin, Trent. We had Chantal there for a little bit. She was fun because she was another girl. I didn't like being the only girl on the team. Kathy, David, British David, American David, Milana, Fred. We made lifelong friends, and we are so thankful we got to have this experience with like just a really good group of people. Virginia, I loved her. And Natasha, Oksana, everyone had their own story and their own reason for being there. And it was just great to get to hang out with them, learn their stories, learn why they were there, and make some new friends. So stay tuned for next week when we show you around Alex's hometown, Lviv, Ukraine. Bye.
Hugs and kisses.
If they don't have a hotel room for me, we got a perfectly good bed back here. Okay, next up is me breaking down. We have a little rave going on. I think this is dying.
It might be louder next to the car though.
I was just gonna like we're at the border.
Okay.
We're at the border.
Are you recording?
Yeah,
Oh.
I've been recording.